Imagine for a moment that you are standing on a quiet mountain, the world below you fading into silence. No voices, no eyes watching, no judgments echoing in your head. It's just you alone, but free. This is the world Nietzsche wanted us to discover. A world not ruled by approval or comparison, but by inner strength and self-mastery. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche said that most people live not as themselves, but as reflections of what others expect. And until we break that mirror, we will never truly live. Today, let's talk about how to escape the eyes of others and find the rarest kind of freedom. The freedom to be unapologetically yourself. We all live under invisible eyes. The opinions of family, co-workers, society. They shape our choices more than we admit. We post to be seen, we speak to be liked, we work to be respected. But behind that constant need for recognition lies something fragile: fear. Fear of being forgotten, ignored, or unseen. Nietzsche saw this clearly. He believed that most people become slaves to the collective, not because they are weak, but because they never learned how to stand alone. He called it the herd mentality. It's comforting, but it kills individuality. True greatness, he said, begins when you stop needing to belong. The first psychological reason we fall into this trap is that approval feels like safety. From childhood, we were rewarded when others liked us. Praise meant love. Criticism meant rejection. So we learned to conform, to dress like others, think like others, act like others. Over time, we confused acceptance with worth. Nietzsche warned that this comfort is poison. He wrote, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe." Comfort is seductive because it promises peace, but it quietly erases you. Every time you adjust yourself to please others, you lose a piece of your authenticity. And one day, you wake up wondering who you really are without the masks. Breaking this cycle requires discomfort. It means saying no when silence would be easier. It means risking disapproval to protect your truth. Every artist, every philosopher, every innovator who changed the world first learned to tolerate misunderstanding. When the herd goes one way, you must be willing to walk the other. That is the birthplace of individuality. Remember, Nietzsche didn't admire conformity. He admired courage, the courage to stand alone. The second reason we get trapped by others' eyes is the addiction to comparison. It's subtle, but deadly. We scroll through others' lives and quietly measure our own value. We don't just want success, we want to be seen as successful. Nietzsche hated this mindset because it turns life into a competition instead of a creation. He believed that each person must create their own values, not borrow them from the crowd. Become who you are, he wrote, not what others want you to be. Comparison is a form of self-betrayal. It tells you that your life isn't enough until it looks like someone else's. But the moment you stop comparing, you start living. Success becomes peace, not proof. Freedom becomes internal, not public. To Nietzsche, the Übermensch, the higher man, was one who creates his own meaning. He doesn't measure himself by the standards of others, because he understands that greatness cannot be compared. Your purpose is not to outshine anyone, it's to outgrow yourself. Let's make this concrete. Think of a time you hesitated to act because you feared judgment. Maybe you wanted to start a new career, post your ideas online, or speak honestly to someone, but you stopped. That hesitation wasn't logic. It was fear of the eyes. Those invisible eyes hold more power over us than we admit. Nietzsche's answer? Detach your identity from validation. The crowd doesn't know your truth. Their approval is temporary, but your potential is eternal. The third and most powerful reason we live under others' eyes is the fear of rejection. Humans are social creatures. Our ancestors survived through belonging. Exile meant death, but today, that instinct keeps us small. We fear being excluded, not realizing that solitude is where strength is born. Nietzsche's life was proof of this. He was mocked, ignored, and dismissed while he lived, but his solitude gave him clarity. In the silence of rejection, he built a philosophy that outlasted every voice that mocked him. He said, "The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly." Rejection is not a sign that you're wrong, it's a sign that you're rising. So what does this mean for you, right now? It means you must learn to be misunderstood without breaking. It means building an inner world so stable that no external judgment can shake it. It means living by your own compass, even when it points in the opposite direction from the crowd. The practice of escaping the eyes of others starts with one act of defiance, choosing truth over approval. But there's something deeper. Nietzsche didn't want us to simply ignore others. He wanted us to transcend them, to rise so high in self-awareness that the need for recognition becomes irrelevant. Freedom, he said, is not rebellion, it's mastery. When you no longer react to praise or criticism, you become untouchable. That is the quiet strength of the philosopher, the creator, the free spirit. You move through life not seeking validation, but offering vision. Now let's talk about how to apply this philosophy in daily life. When you feel judged, pause. Instead of asking, "What do they think of me?" ask, "Why does it matter?" That question alone will shatter illusions. Notice how often your decisions are guided by imagined opinions. You'll be surprised how much of your energy goes into performing rather than living. Start reclaiming that energy. Spend it on mastery, learning, and purpose, not performance. Next, practice solitude. Not as isolation, but as renewal. Nietzsche wrote much of Thus Spoke Zarathustra in silence and solitude. He believed that solitude isn't an escape from the world. It's a confrontation with yourself. It's where clarity lives. In a world addicted to noise, your ability to be alone becomes your superpower. Every day, take a few minutes to disconnect from the world and reconnect with your thoughts. The more comfortable you become in silence, the less control the world has over you. Finally, embrace imperfection. One of Nietzsche's most profound lessons is amor fati, the love of one's fate. It means accepting everything, even flaws, as necessary. When you love your fate, you stop needing to prove your worth. The eyes of others lose their hold. Because you are no longer seeking approval, you are seeking truth. Imagine the peace that comes from no longer defending who you are. That's real strength, not arrogance, but calm certainty. The journey away from others' eyes is long and often lonely, but in that loneliness, you'll find something sacred, your own voice. And once you find it, the world can no longer control you. Nietzsche didn't promise comfort, he promised freedom. He believed that the greatest act of courage is to stand before the world and say, "I will live by my own light." So stop performing. Stop explaining. Stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for your soul. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them misunderstand. You are not here to be seen, you are here to see. To see clearly, to live freely, to become who you are meant to be. True freedom begins the moment you stop being afraid of their gaze. The moment you stop reacting to approval or criticism, you become whole. Remember this: when you no longer live for the eyes of others, your own eyes finally open. And in that quiet clarity, you find the deepest truth. Nietzsche ever taught that the greatest act of rebellion is simply to be yourself.